few minutes for YouTube to start, and then we are all ready to go. Let me just update titles as well once we're at it. Ethereum 2.0 live stream, guys. So it seems like it shows that the stream is up and running, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Box Mining. You guys know the background, it looks different. This is a very, very different video. I'm super excited for it because it's one of my most ambitious videos yet, which is we're going to set up live today an Ethereum 2.0 validator node. We're going to start staking that Ethereum, start earning some of that Ethereum 2.0. This is the best time to do it because yesterday we just had the successful ETH 2.0 network launch. So we're going to be joining people here on the beacon chain, so to speak. We're going to become one of those validators. Up here, you're going to see my screen up here. We're going to become a validator and we're going to start earning. Now, this is quite an involved process. You can see the tension building up here because we do have to send 32 Ethereum. So you just have to make sure that your ETH is safe. For me, whenever it comes to sending cryptocurrencies, etc., I do a lot of research. And this is why I've done a lot of research for this video as well, because just for security, for my own safety's sake, and for just making sure that I get the content right. This is, if I do this wrong, I'm gonna lose 32 ETH, right? If I accidentally review a key or something like that, someone might steal that, and boom, that's like $18,000 gone, right? You crash half a Tesla, so you don't want that happening. So my recommendation, obviously, this is not a follow along. This is more or less to show you guys what the process is and what you're going to learn from this video. And you know why I'm doing this video is because you're going to learn a lot about the process to set up an Ethereum node. But more importantly, you're going to learn a lot about the network as well in the process. So this is for two types of people. If you're setting up an Ethereum node, this is the video for you. But also if you're interested in Ethereum 2.0, what it's kind of about, how it's going to work and all the kind of terms and conditions and the whole progress, this is for a video for you too. And we're going through the entire process and I'll be highlighting some points. So okay, so for those who want to use this as a guide, I do want to say before you start, you do want a piece of paper. So okay, this is some black magic here I'm using. All right, see there. At the perfect angle, you can see I have a piece of paper in front of me. I do have a pen as well, so you have a pen here, and you want to have it set up. So I've also set up a MetaMask wallet connected to my ledger. So my ledger is hooked onto here. So I made all my procedures. And the MetaMask is also loaded here. I'm going to just switch to this window here. It's also loaded with 32 ETH. In fact, I have 32.1 ETH, and this is just a little bit extra so I can do the transactions. You still have to interact with Ethereum, so you need a little bit more than 32. So I have just a little bit there. And right now, there's a staring at my face, 18,972. That's a lot of money right there, sitting there. So that's the case. That's what you need to get started. And also what I'm going to use, the tool that I'm going to use to set up this node is something called Allnodes. So Allnodes, I've been using them for a long time. And what they do is they provide the hosting service for the node. So they make sure that pretty much all the tech stuff is like, boom, it's in the back end. You just pay, run, and you're good to go. Personally, why I'm doing this video and why I trust them is because I've been using them for a long time. This is actually a screenshot of my own account. I've been using them to host Zcoin or Fero nodes. You can see them here. I've also blacked out this stuff because, why this is a screenshot is for my own protection because I don't want people seeing the collateral addresses and all this detail here. But you can see that I've been running this for some time now. So like this has been running nodes on Zcoin for more than a year already. They're like a very trusted service, and they're also a lot cheaper than everything else as well. So you don't have to pay the management fee. One of the reasons also why you want to host your node yourself is for two reasons. One, I've seen exchanges do this, but the problem with exchanges is that you don't really want everything to be on an exchange. I saw Coinbase jump into this, and I'm like, no, you never want to host a node with Coinbase. That's like the last thing you ever want to do. Like they have a direct access to like various tax departments. Have fun reporting, filing that. Here, it's more of an experiment. Also, the second part is that, exchanges are extremely dangerous. They still they hold a lot of capital. They're vulnerable to theft. I'm a victim of Mt. Gox myself, so you never really want this to be done on exchange. You want to, at the end of the day, hold your keys. You want to make sure everything is secure, and also that, of course, you want to also participate. One of the reasons why you want to do this, you want to participate on and properly into the Ethereum network and provide your own validator node as well. So lastly, to say, why do you want to do this? Come on, shut up ads. Okay, so last thing, okay, so I did some calculations. So, the cost of running the node is $18,000. But obviously, the big reward here is the annual percentage yield. So you're going to get some money, right? So right now, currently the estimate is around 16.5%. This might drop a bit in the future as more people join and more validators activate. And roughly estimate per month is around 1.82%, which is roughly around US dollars, in terms of US dollars, 242 US dollars as staking rewards for this. So just make sure that's kind of one of the kind of most biggest draws to this, is that you get $242 for every node that you run. So if you're baller, if you're rich and you're Ethereum rich, you can run multiple nodes, and each of these nodes will be earning this estimated income. Now, that being said, of course, you do need 32 ETH. So if you don't have 32 ETH, there's other options for you, and we'll talk about that later in this channel. That will be the way to go. But currently, I'm looking for this. This is what I'm looking for, honestly, to be honest. That's all right. So, all right, let's get started. So this is the whole entire process we're going to show you through. And before we start, I guess let me just fly in my intro. All right, so we're officially starting. So starting off, we're gonna just go on Allnodes, and this is the interface once you log in. I did actually have a balance, so doing homework beforehand, I did prepare $50 of balance here. For billing, obviously, because this is a crypto one, you can actually pay by Bitcoins and altcoins. I've actually literally paid using that method. So you can pay with a lot of different cryptocurrencies. So you can just pay for the balance and you're good to go. So I started off with 50. I thought that was a good number. Now, on top, they've already said Ethereum 2.0 staking already launched, learn more. So why not just go for the easiest way? And you're going to click the host ETH 2.0 button. Now, this is where it's pretty easy. You can just set your node. So you got the basic plan, which is $5 per month, or the advanced plan, which is around, let's say, 1 cent per hour. So I'm going to choose the advanced plan, but whatever. This is the one I'm going to choose, and we're going to be on mainnet. This is why this is going to be intense. We're also going to connect a wallet here. So this is they automatically let you connect a wallet. So I'm going to just connect it to my MetaMask. And I'm just going to make sure, actually, yeah, see, this is where you double check. On my MetaMask, I'm just going to make sure that I'm connected with what I label this as Ledger 7. All right, go figure what that means. So I'm just making sure that this is the correct wallet. Yet again, if you guys don't know how to connect your MetaMask up with your Ledger, this is something that I do recommend for any amount larger than, say, 5,000 US dollars. Yeah, just so there's a video that I've had called the MetaMask Guide, Advanced Tips and Tricks. You can connect it with a Ledger. This is the way I recommend to do it, because hardware wallet safety, right? Now how comes the instructions part? You have to go through the process on Ethereum 2.0 Launchpad. All right, so this is where you open up the Launchpad and you see the nice Mr. Rhino here, who's going to guide us through the process of doing this. So to get started, click the Get Started one. And taking you through the process, it tells you about what Ethereum 2.0 is. And even though there's a lot of to read, I do recommend that you read up on the stuff. A few key things to point out is responsibilities. So if you want to do this, only validators that actively participate in the consensus receive rewards. Those that are offline are penalized. And these the penalties for being offline are equal to the rewards of actively participating. This is actually very important. This means that if your node is online and working, that means you're going to be getting that yummy money, right? So, a friend actually told me, I'm going to quote my friend here. He's a money guy. He's like, no money, no honey, right? So your expected income is 242 roughly US dollars per month. You can put that into Ethereum as well. Expected monthly income. Let's do ETH equals to this. divided by this, right? So roughly 0.4 ETH per month. If you want to calculate in ETH, if you want to calculate in US dollars, that's the amount in US dollars, right? So no money, no honey. This is the honey, right? You want the honey, but you also want to be, also need to actively participate, which is why we're running on Allnodes, so they're online all the time, and you don't have to host it yourself. We will do it for future tutorials if you want to host it yourself, but I personally try hosting everything myself on my server. Lots of maintenance work to do, which is why, this is the easiest solution and why I'm showing you guys this online. It's just pretty much the easiest solution. Boom, click a button, done, right? So you are responsible. You're responsible for being online. You're responsible for voting on blocks. This is why you run the validator. The next big thing, the biggest kind of risk also is called slashing. There's something you have to be aware of. If your node gets compromised in any way, if you really do misbehave on the network, validators will get slashed. This is one of the ways to keep the network honest, right? And as part of a decentralized network, anyone who's doing evil, right? If you're being caught doing evil, you will get slashed. And slashing could mean you lose the entirety of your 32 ETH deposit. So, that $18,000 there, you could lose it if you behave evilly. This shouldn't occur, all right? So this normally doesn't occur, and this is one of the reasons, yet again, why I'm hosting on a server like this, that kind of set up everything so it's done correctly, is that sometimes hackers try to hack your server, and then they try to, penalize you, and, it gets messy. So, okay, so that's the two responsibilities on there. And the last thing is very important. This part is very important. This is why I have the piece of paper right here in front of me. It's because you need to keep up another mnemonic, a bunch of words. This is almost like setting up your ledger or setting up your wallet in a way. You must remember these words. And you also must make sure that these words are safe from hackers. These words are required to make your withdrawal at the end. That means if you lose these words, you're not going to get your funds back. Yeah, that happy 32 ETH, that's going to be gone forever. It might be even worth more when everything's activated. So make sure you keep these words safe. Write it down with a good pen too. You don't want to get hacked. Also, I usually say this, don't usually save it up on your computer. Your computer can be breached. If you store it as a text document on your computer, then yeah, yikes. If someone breaches that computer, you're gonna have a you're gonna donate to them $18,000, right? Or 32 ETH. Now, so you'll be generating two things. You'll be generating the key, the mnemonic, and also the signing keys. And they also tell you here. So I've generated ETH 2.0 mnemonic passphrase. I've also generated deposit key store. We're going to go through that. And I've also made a deposit. So this is going to guide you through the entire way. Also, I just want to make sure, I kind of forgot to mention this at the start. Make sure you're on launchpad.ethereum.org. There's been a few scam websites that try to take you through this process. They're all scams. The only legit one is launchpad.ethereum.org, and make sure you're on the ethereum.org domain. So that's important. Lastly, here, this is important for everyone to understand. Basically, this is a one-way trip, right? Transfer delay. Transfers between validators are disabled until at least phase 1. Validators will have to wait until phase 2, around 2 years, to be able to withdraw to a specific shard. So this is the big launch, right? You're going to see Ethereum launch off to the moon, but whilst it's on that spaceship, you're not allowed to transfer. So yet again, this is why it's a huge commitment for me as well. I'm going to be locking up that Ethereum. Yet again, it's an involved process. You want to have some ETH. Well, you're not going to be able to transfer that ETH until at least phase 1. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about the Ethereum phases, we're currently at phase 0. So this is the starting point. Rocket just launched off. You can't do any transfers. If you want to know a little bit more, I run through the phases and everything on the boxmining.com website. I'll put a link down below as well about all the phases there. But expect to wait a year to be able to transfer this Ethereum again. That's kind of a rough estimate for how it goes. We got a comment from Adam Dier, says, I keep my phrases in a password manager. So that's safer. So if you put in a password manager, they do encrypt it for you, which means it's secured by a password. So yet again, if hackers hack your computer, they have to know your password. Sometimes they manage to keylog the password, so it's not as safe as paper. Paper is hacker proof, right? Like, so typically speaking, I do always recommend paper. It's the most hacker-proof technology out there, right? So okay, so now we're gone through this, and they're talking about commitment, long-term commitment. You're forced to commit, all right? There's no way for a validator to voluntarily exit and then restart later. This means validators need to be in it for the long haul. That's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much the part. Is you commit, and this is also why Ethereum, you know, effectively locked up a huge amount of ETH, right? If you look at currently the Launchpad, that is 921,000 ETH already staking. This means that all this ETH is locked up. It can't be moved. There's no way to exit. You can't go back to ETH 1.0 again. Yeah, there's a long-term commitment, guys. And then, of course, there's early adoption risk as well. I'll just read this out. Validators are participating in the initial launch of a novel network. As with any new piece of software, there's potential for software bugs. While unlikely, potential bugs may result in slashing. Yet again, that slashing thing, that's going to be the biggest risk. All right, so yeah, we got all this. We're confirmed. We're ready to go. Now, this is the part that I did personally myself. You're supposed to run an ETH 1.0 client. This is the good thing about Allnodes is you don't have to launch it. They do it for you. The best way, right? The epic gold standard way is you set up this yourself, but this is actually quite expensive to run. I have a whole server node over there. So I'm going to point in that corner. So I have a whole computer dedicated to running this. I'm not going to show you the process, and this is not necessary. This is complete. It took like literally a week to do this. So yeah, I'm going to skip this part. You don't need it for this. That's a great part of hosting on Allnodes. They take care of it for you. Congrats. Next part, this is something cool. I want to explain this a little bit at the very least, is that Ethereum 2.0 is not developed by just Vitalik, right? I think this is a point to point out that one thing cool about Ethereum 2.0 is that there are multiple clients, multiple groups developing software for it. And this is the coolest part about ETH 2.0 is that it's not just made by Ethereum Core, and this is the one piece of software you have. It is a protocol, and people can use different clients. So they just look at the specifications, write their own protocol, and you're good to go. So you can choose between here, but yet again, with Allnodes, they choose the protocol for you. You don't have to set this up. But I've just found this is kind of cool that with Ethereum 2.0, it's a lot of decentralization, decentralized developers. That's core. So I just want to highlight this part that if you're running this personally, you can choose. All right. Next page, validators we want to set up. We want to set up one validator, all right? So 32 ETH. You can definitely set up more. It just gives you instructions here. If you're baller, if you're a super baller, you want to set up like 99, 88, I'm Chinese, obviously, 888. That's possible too. I'm just going to set up one simple validator, and the cost is 32 ETH. I'm going to demonstrate this on Windows. So which operating system are you doing? You're going to generate this on Windows. And I'm just going to show you the process of setting up your key phrases. So one thing to keep in mind here is that it might look a little bit scary, all right, because you're going to use the CLI app, right, command line interface app. And it might look a little bit scary, but just rest assured, it's pretty simple instructions to write. And this is why I did it live. Now, you're going to click it to download from GitHub. So you're going to download it straight from the developers. And you must make sure that it's github.com. Yet again, there's some scammers out there. Just, yeah, there's so many scams here. Just make sure you're on an official website. eth.org, github.com, Ethereum. All right, that's the correct one. Now, yet again, I'm going to have to choose which release I want. So it just goes here, why Pyromont rhyme doesn't rhyme with anything. This is the one we're going to download. You can see a lot of files here. What you want to just choose is for your operating system. So if you're on Windows, choose Windows AMD 64. Just download this file. And if you're, just wait, let me see. I want to download this to downloads. That makes a lot more sense. Boom. Put it down here. All right. So I'm gonna download that. If you're on Linux, if you're on Mac, just go for Darwin. Darwin is Mac. Magic. All right. So let me make sure that everything here is good. Good. I just don't want to reveal too many things. I have a little folder called secret here. I don't want to open that up too early. So I just downloaded the file here. It's the same file. I just went. It goes into download, and I'm gonna extract here. Magic. It's going to generate this file called deposit, right? So that's the key here. So you're going to extract the zip file. It's extracted and it's in this folder called deposit. Now, this is kind of where the magic starts. You can follow the instructions here. I've done it multiple times yesterday. And this is the key instruction you need to run on the command line interface. Deposit.exe, you want to generate a new mnemonic, the new key phrase. You can set validators as 1 and the chain as mainnet. So I'm just going to copy that for now. I'm going to do a little Windows trick yet again. Because it's a command line interface, if you just double click and run this, nothing's going to happen. It's going to open a window and it's going to close on itself. That's because it's a command line interface command. You need to be running in some sort of terminal. So yet again, in Windows, it's Shift. So you can press Shift on your keyboard and Shift, right click on that, and it says Open PowerShell window here. This is what you're looking for yet again. So it's a little bit involved. You're going to see the infamous blue screen. And this is how it's mostly run right now. Now, if you just directly run the instruction, yet again, I've done this multiple times, so I know. I'm right-clicking now, I'm pasting the command that I just copied over here. It's going to bring up an error, right? This is just kind of how Windows is set up right now. I'm using Windows 10, and it just says, okay, deposit exe is found, right? But you need to enter a .hash in front. So I'm going to just do that, /, and I'm going to paste the command here. It's just one extra step. So yet again, Windows kind of tells you what to do, and you're just entering the command you got just now from Eve. All right, typed enter, and we're starting to run. So choose the mnemonic language. You can choose between multiple languages. I'm just going to choose English. It makes most sense for me. All right, and then you have to type a password to secure that phrase. So yet again, typing that password in. Remember, this password is extremely important. If you do not remember this password, you are going to get wreckaged. So if you need to write it on a piece of paper somewhere, do write it down on a piece of paper. Now you're taken to the next step. This is the magic. This is your mnemonic. This is the words that you must remember. This is the ones that you have to type down. And this is also the magic words that are going to allow you to unlock your Ethereum 2.0 once that transfer is enabled. So this is actually very, very key here. You want to make sure that you remember these keywords. Now, like I said before, I got a piece of paper to write them down, and I'm going to write them down twice, right? But that's for safety. Sometimes handwriting sucks. You can also print these out. That's viable. I've printed them out before, but just make sure you keep them secret, keep them safe. Obviously, I'm going to say here, I'm doing this on the live stream. Obviously, you guys see this key. This is definitely not the way you want to do it, right? If you definitely don't want to show anyone your key, you don't want to show that on camera, you don't want to do this. If someone sees this and someone tries to just enter that in, yes, they will be able to claim my Ethereum at the end. All right, so my 18K US dollars worth of Ethereum, those 32 ETH, that will be lost if I use this phrase. So just note that I'm doing this for demonstration, but this is not the key that I'm actually going to use, right? It makes sense. All right, cool. You can one thing you can do if you want to print it out, you can just select this and it becomes copied onto your keyboard. It becomes copied, but I highly do recommend that you at least don't copy and paste in this step. So I'll write it down. Should I pretend to write it down or just write it down for real? It's going to be very boring. So, okay, I'm going to write it down for real because just do it correctly. Upgrade arc. You guys going to see my awesome writing too in the end. So one of the reasons why we do this is because hackers cannot hack paper. I mean, obviously, you got to keep the piece of paper safe. You don't want anyone to. You don't like the. I think the biggest risk to paper is that if someone drops water on it, which could be possible. Yeah, you're gonna get wrecked hard. Because if you don't remember these words, or if you get a word wrong, or you're missing a word, you're gonna be in deep trouble. So I'm trying to talk and write at the same time. As you obviously know, my dual multitasking skills are not the strongest, but I'm trying to practice writing and also speaking at the same time. Famous mom film. So some people who are really good at memory, they can remember this. I mean, if you remember this, you're like your private keys are so safe. No one's gonna be able to take that from you, right? I mean, yeah, it's like someone wants to take your funds. Well, it's locked. Where is it? Well, it's on the blockchain. How do I access it? Well, it's in my brain. You know, that's the cool part. All right, so I just wrote them down. They're on a piece of paper here. All right, this magic. The magic of NVIDIA means that uh, yeah, it's like I need to put this on an angle so I don't get filtered out. So yeah, those are my words. So I wrote them down correctly. I would recommend if you do it, write it down twice. All right. I'm like, for me, it's this stuff is important. Now Ethereum does something very cool, which is that you have to type it down. You have to type it down again. So you have to make sure you wrote it down correctly. So I'm gonna try to do this. We'll see how it goes. And it's important. We got Brandon Smith says label makers print out stickers that are water resistant. That's actually a smart idea. So if you actually want to use a label maker, that's a good way to do it. All right, so upgrade Arctic ecology wise seek prosper trumpet soda castle memory same misery. Oh shit, same misery. Asthma. Fox canvas, famous mom film, shoulder, tornado, unveil, veil, wasp, obey, obey the iron law. All right, so oh shoot, I think I typed one word wrong here. Anyways, so I'll show you what happens if you type one word wrong. It tells you to do it again. It's very clear. I think it's very clear that that I've done this multiple times. Yeah. So it is a pain in the ass. I've done this yesterday. Spent like literally an hour doing this. Don't make mistakes, but the good thing is if you make a mistake, at least uh, you catch it. You know, so I don't recommend at this page, the easiest thing to do at this stage is to copy and paste the last thing and, you know, you'll 100% get it right because, computers, right? But that's not the right thing. You want to make sure that you wrote it down correctly, they can read it, that you're you're good at typing things in, right? So, sometimes handwriting, you won't be able to read it. It happens to me multiple times. So, you know, shoulder, tornado, unveil, wasp, obey, iron. All right. Okay, fingers crossed. Anyone wants to? All right. Ask. Yeah. All right. Any bets that I'm gonna make it? Any bets on the chat, live chat? Do you think I'm gonna be able to get this right on the second go, or do I need a third one? All right. Fingers crossed. I want this. All right. Asked. Asked. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I got it. All right, so that's a success. Typed the words correctly, and we are good to go. So it says creating keys, verifying deposit keys, success. We see Mr. Rhino. Mr. Rhino tells us success, and I think Myth Currency actually spotted my mistake the first time. It was asked. not asthma. It was a typo right there. So that's the entire process. Is it painful? A little bit, but is it worth it? Absolutely. Security cannot be underestimated at this point. Okay, so we press anything to continue. You are successful. You are done. And also, let's open this window here. You'll see this new folder being created called Validator keys, and you can check up on those two keys. It contains something called deposit data, and it contains something called key store at the current point. So make sure to keep this also very safe too. So like, you know, keep this safe. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. All right, so press any key. We're done here. That's finished. So this is what we wanted. We wanted at this point to generate the keywords. So get the key files ready and the validator files ready, and also get the deposit JSON ready as well. We are ready for the next step. Now this is the step where you're going to add the file over. So let me just go to here. I'm just going to drag it actually. Okay, deposit data. So instead of finding it, it's in a folder somewhere. So I'm gonna get this folder ready, deposit that in, drag it to upload, to browse, continue, MetaMask on, Ledger, connect, 32 ETH available. I'm ready. All right, here is all the parts. I'm not gonna read all of it. I think we've done this before. If I lose my mnemonic, I will not be able to withdraw my funds. Yet again, I've been saying that for the past hour. Keep it secret, keep it safe. I'm aware that of the early adopter risk of slashing. I'm aware that transfer is not reversible. Also, you make sure you're not being phished, and I understand everything here. So I'm going to initiate the transaction. I'm going to click start and waiting for wallet confirmation. This is when MetaMask pops up and it tells you, yo, you're ready to go. This is the step. All right, I will do something here. I'm not gonna press go because yet again, this is the file that I used to generate. I've shown you guys all my key phrases. So if I did this myself right now, obviously I'll be walking myself into a big trap because I'm gonna get wrecked. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna upload again. I think this is a situation where I'm gonna just repeat the step, but with a secret set of files that I've generated beforehand, so I don't reveal to people uh what I have. So let's see. Let's make sure that everything is safe here. Just closing everything. This is the part where I don't want to lose all my money. All right. So I'm sweating here because I just want to make sure it's right. So this is download secret. I'm making sure the deposit JSON. Actually, wait, let me just double check. Yeah, make sure this is the correct one. Make sure the file name is correct. Yep, that's correct. Continue MetaMask. MetaMask is correct. Aware. I'm good. And then we are ready to initiate the transaction. All right. MetaMask, don't fail us now. So we're actually going to do the transfer. This is on Ethereum mainnet. This is for 32 ETH as well. I'm just going to unlock my ledger right now as we go, so we can make sure that's happening. So yet again, make sure that you don't reveal your ledger PIN code. All right, I'm sweating inside. This is a big moment for me. We're sending 32 ETH to the deposit contract. You can also verify it slightly here. The deposit contract starts with a lot of zeros, so 00000, and then ends with 05 FA. Yet again, I'm making all these security checks to make sure I'm not sending to the wrong address. I'm not, screwing this up somehow. If you ever find something, this screw up, you can always hit reject key. That's not a problem. And yeah, in fact, I'm gonna initiate the transaction. Yeah, I'm gonna do this again. Just double check. You can also also edit the gas price. I think just make sure that's gonna send. Okay, I'm gonna go for 48 ETH because that's a standard fee. So I'm just gonna up the gas a little bit so I don't get stuck. I can see my heart pounding. I'm like, don't screw this up, Michael. Don't screw this up. If you screw this up, it's game over. All right. You got this. Tara L says, you got this, man. I got this. All right. Click the confirm button. All right, that window is going to pop up. The security now I can show the ledger. The ledger is here. You're going to review the transaction. Data is present. Again, you can see the address. Kind of, it's has a lot of zeros here, so I'm making sure that this is the right address. Ends with 05FA. Making sure all these addresses are correct. Accept and send. Good luck to us. Good luck to us. You can also see that, okay, so that transaction is getting sent right now. MetaMask did not fail us. It's happening, guys. Iceborg, once this is happening. All right, so this is happening. It's going to hopefully take less than 2 minutes over here. It's being sent. And MetaMask also tells you that, not MetaMask, this is Everscan tells you that this is the contract address and transaction 0 confirmed view on Everscan. We got it. We got it, guys. We got it. We got it. So check mark, sent the transaction, successful. Blast off. That ETH now is on its way. Right? That's on its way to Ethereum 2.0 right now. It's interacting with the deposit contract. There's no way back. There's no way to cancel now. That's 32 ETH. That's $18,000. You know, sent it off to ETH 2.0. We are watching history, says JPAR. Yes, as you're watching box mining history at the very least, where my ETH is going live. Can't believe I did this, actually. I can't believe I did this on mainnet. It was a very big challenge for me to make sure that everything is right. Imagine if I made a mistake here and I sent it to the wrong address, that would be gone forever. But anyways, we're all good now. We're back. We're going to Allnodes. We're ready for Ethereum Launchpad. So I've generated the Ethereum 2.0 phrases. I've generated deposit data. I've also deposited Ethereum to the contract. Now my ETH can make more ETH. JPAR says, now your ETH is making more ETH. Kinda, almost, soon. So yet again, next step, make sure that everything here is correct. Next step, here, I will be choosing the slightly advanced version of this. Let me just double check that how many. It's a little bit more expensive. Let me just see. This is the price. Hours per month. All right, so how much will it cost? It will equal to this times this. So it costs $10 per month. It's fine. It's fine. Let's go host that up there. All right, drag files. So now you be asked for the files. So I'm gonna drag to upload. So first of all, it asks for the deposit data file. Drag drop that in. Now it's gonna ask for the T store. Drag that drop in. Yet again, make sure that you got the right ones, guys. All right. And then now you have to also have the password. So this is the password that we generated at the start. So when we used to lock up everything, I'll tell you to, remember that password. Well, remember that password. All right. Okay. Create nodes. We're ready, guys. All right. Let's make sure enter my password. I just have to make sure that you guys don't see my password too. These are all the things you have to think about before running this thing, right? Like you want to take your time. All right. That's it, guys. That's it. Notice launch, collecting data, pending. All right. So everything that we need to do is now done. All right. That's it. That's all you need to do. Period. All right. Node, you're gonna let everything. We're gonna watch this in the future. It will take some time. All right. This is where, yet again, patience is a virtue. We just launched it. We just made the deposit. We just submitted all the data to the staking contract, and we just submitted it to the server as well. Something that you guys saw just now, and I also explicitly asked about this too, is that, I dragged these two files. One is deposit data, one is key store to the server, and I gave it its password. Is it safe? Is it secure? That's actually a big concern for me. So prior to making this video, I did ask the guys at Allnodes, so this is Sephiroth. I did ask Sephiroth directly what's going to happen. First of all, when you submit this data, it's not your mnemonic key phrase. So your ETH is safe, right? Because you don't ever want the server knowing your private key phrases. So your key phrase is safe, so you don't have to worry about that. This is just for the server itself. So it's a different set of keys. And even if you unlock it, even if they see everything, they're not going to be able to touch your funds. This is absolutely core, right? Not your keys, not your crypto. They don't get to touch your funds. So one of the biggest risks that you run, and they were very transparent about this, is that if something does screw up on their end and you get slashed, which is, that's never happened to me, and they got this done like perfectly. That's your biggest risk of the slashing. So they're not going to be able to steal your funds, which is a big one, right? You never want to allow anyone to be able to steal your funds, and which is what's the whole point of doing this in the first place, right? If you want to go through all these steps and you want to do this properly, you don't want anyone ever being able to steal your funds. So, anyways, long lecture done. Now, a few things, right? So, Lotus launch collecting data. How long is it going to take? What's going to happen next? I want to copy some of the data here. So I'm just going to go on to Beacon Chain. Um, this is where you can browse everything. And I'm going to just post that address in. So you can see that I made the deposit. So if you look at it, they actually show you the data, right? So this is my public key I just posted in. It's also basically the address of the account. I'm going to be transparent here. There's no point hiding. I think pretty much revealed everything to everyone at this point. This is the ledger that address that I used. This is the transaction for the deposit. Yet again, has a valid signature. I think a few people, right? A few people just they saw the deposit contract, and some people just sent 32 ETH to it. I have some bad news for you. If you do that, your ETH is going to be gone forever. You got to go through the stages that we went through just now. The long, painful process that we went through just now. Well, you got to go through that. If you just send Ethereum to this address, you're going to be totally wrecked. So we did it properly. I showed you guys the correct way of doing it with the Ethereum Launchpad, the official way to do it. And you can see the ETH address, the validator key. You can see everything. It's the status is being deposited. I'm going to look at the validator key a little bit more. You can see the deposit is here and it's now on pending. You guys actually have to wait a few days. So right now, if you look at the deposit size of this, the deposit was made 7 minutes ago, but it does take at least 12 hours to be processed by the Beacon chain and for everything to go. This is absolutely something on Ethereum's front. Right now, a lot of people are registering nodes, so it does take a while for the ETH2 deposits to come in. So what we'll do is we're not going to wait the 12 hours, and it's actually longer than that. It's probably going to take 7 days, so a week or a little bit more than that, to have the Ethereum deposits show up in here. So we're going to be a little bit patient. We're gonna we're gonna update ourselves once this is happening, but now we have to wait, right? We have to wait for this to go through, and then Allnodes sides, they're gonna launch the server, and then we're gonna watch that line. We're gonna be able to watch. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna be able to see later. I'm gonna just show you guys on Beacon Chain. It's pretty easy. Epic. Let's go to these epics here. Let's find someone else's attestations, validators. So in the future, we can expect this to be the case. So we're gonna effectively see, right, magically in the future. This is someone else's validator, but magically in the future, what you're gonna see on Beacon Chain is that you can see the current balance. You're gonna also see their income, 7-day, 31-day, and estimated APY. All right, first of all, why is this lower? I raised my eyebrow. Like, why is it only 2% APY? It's actually because the network just started, so the estimations, the reward estimations are incorrect. I mean, the network's only been running for less than 24 hours. So Ethereum 2.0 is running less for 24 hours. That's why these estimations are all off. So what I expect in a few weeks to come, that these estimations will be correct. We will be hitting roughly, the number is 16.5% APY. That's okay. So ETH Launchpad. This one here, yeah, roughly 16.1 now, 16.1. So it's kind of dropping. So like I said, as more and more millions of ETH get staked, it will drop. So it could be potentially the case that by a month or two, the APY will drop to around 11%. But anyways, we're in early. We're gonna get some of the early rewards as well. So, anyways, that's pretty much it. That was that was intense. Doing it on live stream is always hard because you're always afraid of screwing something up and accidentally revealing something you shouldn't have. Like I said, or maybe something screws up in the process. Typically speaking, live demonstrations almost always never work, right? I- that's always. I mean, I come from a science background, right? And whenever you want to do a live demo, it almost never ever works. So. hmm. So John Weems says live stream in 7 days. We'll wait for this to finish pending. So yeah, we will. And we're gonna keep you updated. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this live on this channel is because first of all, I don't have to edit any videos. Maybe I'll edit a simpler guide, but I wanted to show you guys at the launch of ETH 2.0. I think this video wouldn't have made sense prior to the launch of ETH 2 because, you won't get any rewards. It will just be boring. But now, we're waiting on those rewards. So it's kind of the perfect timing for it. And also why I'm kind of showing you guys this is the better way to do it. It's, I know, kind of, how would I say this? Okay. So this is one of the better ways because you get to keep your keys, those words that we wrote down, that's your private key, right? That represents your private key. That gives you all the power. Now, I know exchanges are going to do this in the future, and we've seen some services run up as well. We've seen Staker that Staker is also set up. So Anchor, Staker, Anchor.com. So Staker is up already. This is an option for you if you want to stake less than 30 ETH, start staking. So you can start staking, but this isn't running your own node. That you let them run your own node. So it's a situation where, the method that we did today is the one that you run your own node. You're helping the network. You are there. So I feel like this is the one if you want to contribute to ETH, all right, to the network to be cool, and with the most control. The most epic way of doing so, obviously, I'll just show you guys. Okay, continue. I should have shown you guys this. This is a congratulations. The big congratulations. Now, thank you for supporting ETH2 network. Now, typically speaking, if you want to do it the most hardcore way, and I know a lot of ETH maximalists would say, this is the way you should do it, you've got to go through and set up your own node. All right, so this involves you running and two things. You're going to run an Ethereum full node, and also you have to run a validator and a beacon chain. So you're going to have to run 3 services and then keep them up at the same time. Why do I know this? Is because I've done it myself personally. So I've gone through the process. I've been actually through the whole launch process before, just doing the whole process to make sure that I get it right. So you want to run GETH. This is the one that I used. So I run it Geth, right? It's Go ETH. You run Go ETH. You run you actually have to run Prism. So I use the Prism one. You run the beacon node, and then you run the validator client. So you basically have to run 3 sets of software. It all takes space, and they all need to be online 24 hours. And you also must make sure that they're accessible. So in terms of allowing port access. So obviously you can't run this. You have to run this. You can run this at home, but you can't run this on mobile phone. Some people were talking about running this on mobile phone. You can't run this on mobile phone. You have to pretty much leave it on 24 hours. You're a node. And if the machine shuts down, if software needs to be upgraded, you need to upgrade it all at the same time, which is kind of why Allnodes makes sense, because they upgrade the software for you and they run it for you for roughly around $10 a month. So yeah, why not? If I'm already making, say, $240, $10 in terms of expenditure and a peace of mind is good. Last thing with Allnodes, why this is also good is if you're a baller, yet again, you can launch multiple nodes from this. So you don't have to just do one. I did one in this example here, but if you want to stake 320 ETH, you want to be a baller, Absolutely. You can just run 10 nodes here. You guys kind of saw my screenshot earlier. I was running like 10 nodes for um Zcoin or something Zcoin there. So it's just so much easier to maintain and manage. Prior to this, I was being all hardcore. I was actually running my own Zcoin nodes, my Zcoin master nodes. Um yeah, you don't want to do that because they update like every 2 months and you have to go up to each client, run the upgrade, synchronize it again. It's just a pain. This guy, Allnodes take cares of all the node stuff, the nerdy stuff for you. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. So we'll do some Q&A. So Billy says, "Can you stake ETH on Binance right now?" So yet again, I would say a lot of people are staking on Binance. I personally wouldn't, to be honest. Like, I've been the victim of exchange hacks. So the way I treat exchanges is that if I'm actively trading, then sure, I'll deposit funds inside. But yeah, Mt. Gox is not fun. In fact, this month, so okay, so here's the story. I left all my crypto funds in an exchange called Mt. Gox, and that exchange then got hacked. After getting hacked, the exchange closed down, disabled all withdrawals, and then went through the legal process of returning everyone's funds. This is very infamous, just search it up. Those funds are still not back into my pocket yet. It's been 4 years. And the last email I got from them was for me to reconfirm my name and email address. That you got that right. I can be as I want to rage so hard right now because it's going through the Japanese law, the bankruptcy law in Japan, and they are just such a shit show. So you never really want to leave too much funds on exchange because you might be kissing that goodbye. Anyway, so that's why I keep the keys myself. This is why I have ledgers. This is why I keep um, you know, this is why I do this, right? So in a certain way, being hardcore is important. I've learned the lesson the hard way. Yeah, that's hard. Tara asks, how much would they be today? I don't really say numbers here. I think this is the only number. This is the only episode with numbers because we had to do the 32 ETH. It was a bit. It was a bit of Bitcoin. And the worst part, the worst part of Mt. Gox is when they liquidate it, they automatically convert that Bitcoin into a US dollar amount. It's just the way Japanese bankruptcy law works, right? So I think they sold all my Bitcoin at roughly $800. Yeah. Yeah, that's legal system for you. Legal. Good job, right? Good job. Good job, Japan. Good job. Good job, Mt. Gox. Good job, Japan. Yeah. I mean, I think, and you might think, okay, look, you're such an idiot for doing that when you started. I mean, when I started, I kept all my funds in exchange because I thought it was safer. I didn't trust myself as much as I did today, right? Back in the day, I'm like, oh, it's so painful. Writing these words on a piece of paper, that's so painful. Back in the day, we didn't have ledgers too. So it's like, oh, there wasn't a convenient way to do so. So I was like, oh, exchanges should be more safe than my wallet. And why not? Trust the biggest exchange out there. Mt. Gox at that time actually had around 60% of Bitcoin volumes. So like they were huge. They're bigger than any of these exchanges. They're bigger than Coinbase. They were bigger than Binance. If you in terms of market share, they were gigantic. So I thought I can trust that, but that's my personal experience. No, you cannot. Yeah. So and also, yeah, yeah, just not cool, not cool. At box mining, this Billy at box mining this time, it's different. It is. You know. That's pretty much it. So it does. Was it hard? I wouldn't say so. Like, there was a lot of buttons to press to make sure you knew what you're doing. In terms of setting up this node and doing everything. But overall, I wouldn't say it's hard. I wouldn't say it's hard. I would say it's still It's definitely achievable. Like, the whole point of this video is to show you guys through the process that it's achievable. Obviously, we're doing this early, right? This is day one. So obviously, in the future, I'm sure there's going to be even easier ways to do it. But at the core, if you want to do it properly, I've shown you guys a proper way to do it. That was the case. Dylan says, did Mt. Gox have a professional vibe such look that Binance and Coinbase give to people? I never used it. Um, it was all right. It didn't look bad. You know, uh, I think in terms of UI UX, obviously these exchanges these days have greatly improved, and I think in terms of security too, like it should be a little bit better. Um, but I would say if you're staking, I would, if it was me, right, I'll probably do it on either Binance, but not Coinbase. I think I'm kind of caught up in this recent war about Coinbase. Coinbase is a great way to start, right? It's a great way for a lot of people to have access to crypto. But trading on Coinbase is the least intelligent thing like you should do. It, yeah, it's gonna involve a lot like of pain in the future. So my 2 cents is, you know, do it properly. Move on to another exchange. You know, Justin Chapman says, "Who's running a validator node here?" Yeah, I'd definitely love to hear who is running a validator node. If you guys are running your own nodes, and if you would move over as well. Eric Gomez says, does FTX has better security than the average exchange? It's hard to say. I mean, you ask an exchange, they all say we have the best security in the world, right? Like, and they probably, if they're smart, they won't reveal how to keep it. For me personally, I'm a little bit closer to the FTX guys because I met them before. I've chatted with Sam. I know what they're doing. This is also why I'm kind of using that exchange mostly for my transactions, and also because FTX, they have free transactions. So if you want to do anything like you can probably see this. This deposit actually did come, not purchase. I need to say assets buy. All right, view account, view a need for a scan. This came from FTX. I pretty much use FTX as a hot wallet now. So if I need any funds to transfer, I pretty much just use FTX because all withdrawals from FTX are free. So if you guys want to join FTX, yeah, I'll leave my referral code down below. It does help up the channel, etc. So box mining. Oopsies. All right. Why are you not working? Why you not work? Okay, I know why now. Okay, box mining, CO slash FTX. So I kind of use that as my wallet now. Because all of the withdrawals are free. Coinbase Pro used to do that, but now they removed it. So that's great. Yuan Ming Kwan says hodl everything on MetaMask. So a few things, right? So okay, MetaMask. If you're using MetaMask, use a ledger with MetaMask. All right. There's a few instances if you accidentally uninstall MetaMask, you're gonna be in a world of hurt because you're gonna lose all those data. So obviously make sure if you're on MetaMask, make sure you back up everything correctly. I'm not gonna show you the backup here because that's actually being used right now, but make sure you back it up correctly. So in case you accidentally uninstall it, which has happened to me once, that you're safe. Billy says, at Box Money, what are your thoughts on Bybit Safe? So Bybit, I know a lot of YouTubers promote it a lot. They have the most number of competitions on Bybit, but it's nowhere near in terms of power near what FTX is. So Bybit is the most profitable exchange to promote for YouTubers. It's like that's why there's so many Bybit shows, right? And this is why Bybit was so concerned. They sent me so many emails. They're like, "Yo, Box, why don't you have a Bybit referral on your YouTube? You can make a lot of money, And I know a lot of YouTubers, they're bragging. They're like making like The most I heard, I'm not sure if this is true, is someone was making around 500,000 or 1 million per quarter on ByFit referrals. That's insane. I wouldn't comment too much on security. I think, they're an exchange. They got a lot of competitions, but in terms of trade, they're not as powerful as FTX. That's what I'm just gonna say there. FTX does pretty much everything at this current point, like all the markets. FTX is just way too more powerful, but it is harder to use. It takes roughly like, I would say like 3 days, 4 days to get accustomed to the UI and interface. But in terms of what they have on the exchange, it's just like next level. If you want power, this is the one to go for it. Um, okay. Llama 666 says +1 for Ledger plus MetaMask. That is the way to do it. You know, it's it is the way. It is the way. This is the way. I need to watch next season of Mandalorian. All right, so we've been through all steps, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I think this roughly concludes the video. So Tara L says, so it's 32 ETH, no more, no less. Absolutely, no more, no less. If you want to properly run a node, this is the proper way of doing it. We showed you guys the proper way of running it today, keeping everything safe, keeping everything kosher. Yeah. So that's it. It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard. Okay. But you just have to make sure you write down. You just have to make sure you can write down like what is it, like 24 words? Not the hardest thing in the world. Copy paste a command, run 24 words. It's not hard at all. Airwolf says, hey Box Money, what is the minimum hardware to run an ETH2 node and beacon chain? Thanks. That's a really good question. So if you want to do this yourself, there's two ways of doing it. There's a light way. All right. So you can have the beacon node and a validator client. And I did run that off a AWS server with medium specs. You probably want more than 1 GB of RAM. It did crash for me on 1 GB of RAM. So if you just want to run these two nodes, you'll have to probably use the medium server with at least 2 gigabytes of RAM and 2 cores supporting it for the initial sync. So that's possible. But Ethereum, they recommend that you run it with the ETH1 client as well. So if you want to run it with the Ethereum 1 client, you're going to have a very beefy server. So the recommendation for that is at least a Core i7, so at least 4 cores, or if you're AMD, you can have a Ryzen 5. I've run it on my Ryzen 5 with absolutely no problem, and you need at least 700 gigabytes of space. And I would go over it a little bit. So when I set this up myself, I actually used a 2 terabyte hard disk to set up the ETH1 client and the ETH beacon node and the validator client. It was a pain. All right. Simply said, if you want to do it the tech way, the best way, the epic security way, yeah, it's pretty intensive. If you want to do it on AWS, you can. You'll probably have to go for AWS large with a large amount of storage for it. So that's good. That's what's going to cost you. Roughly, you're expected to pay around $70, $80. Very likely, what Allnodes does is that they use they probably set it up a little bit more cleanly and they update it for you. But anyways, I hope that answers your question. It will be beefy. Natalia Y. Taylor says, will you save this for a replay? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can. Llama666 says, the hard drive must be an SSD. I've seen that, but you can. All right. You can maybe get away with it if you run on an HDD. I've seen multiple requirements. Okay, I'm kind of a douche here. I've seen multiple requirements for a lot of nodes to run on an SSD. If you're sneaky, you can probably get away with HDD, right? Just for a little bit cheaper. But it doesn't really matter nowadays. If you want to have a 2 terabyte SSD, it's not hard either. Quinn says, who wants my 12-week word passphrase? Guys, stay safe, guys. Stay safe, guys. Bill Chan says, can Apple M1 run the ETH1 node? It could, possibly. I haven't tested it out. So there has been several attempts to run light nodes for ETH. So the one that I used was Geth. If you want to run ETH1, you could. Technically speaking, you can run the beacon node or the validator client on a Pi. There's an ARM project. If you want to go all nerdy for that, you can potentially run it on a Raspberry Pi. Maybe. It's not really mature yet. I would definitely not recommend it. Look, at the end of the day, it's $10, right? That's the way I think about it. Like, it's $10 and a little bit of trust. The reason why I would say I wouldn't run it is because you need the runtime as well. In the past, when I ran my um run my testnet client, if the client would go offline, you will start losing money, right? So that's never something you want. So, anyways, yeah, you'll like, this is the one that realistically I would recommend at this current point for a self custody solution. So yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Arctan Burger says otherwise it'll take ages to sync if it's not on an SSD. I think so, but anyways, we'll have to test it out. I did run my ETH1 node on the HDD, and it did take roughly around 3 weeks to sync. So yeah, if you want the speed to be faster, sure, go for an SSD. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Tara L says you can't get that APY anywhere without security. You need an APY and you need self custody. Boom. We got Kevin Svensson's Crypto says smash up that like button. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode for sure. It was definitely a big undertaking on my side. Definitely appreciate if you smash up the like button. I will make. I think I will edit this to a video. Edit bits and pieces of it, and yeah, it will. We'll see how it goes. And with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope this answers all the questions. And if you have any more questions, do shoot them down in the comment section below. We'll include the answers in the next stream. Big shout outs to the next stream as well. Next stream will be on Friday, 11 a.m. Hong Kong time. That's pretty much it for today. Black Rainbow says, Black Rainbow says, how do you take your ETH2 out in 2 years? So the instructions will be a little bit more clear in 2 years. So a few things. What we expect is that in roughly a year, if phase 1 launches successfully, so this is when, it depends on how fast the developers program. So if phase 1 launches, you'll be able to transfer your ETH2. So you can't transfer back onto ETH1, but you'll be able to transfer within Ethereum 2.0. This is very likely going to be a time when exchanges will allow deposits for ETH2. And during that time, very likely you can transfer out, so to speak. So how are you going to do that? That's unclear at this current point. Very likely in the future, you can probably import those words into MetaMask at some point to transfer those ETH. But yet again, it's unclear because the developers haven't done that yet. We can't even make any transfers right now on Ethereum 2.0. It's just not capable of doing that yet. So at this current point, we don't know how, but it will arrive in roughly a year. That's why you gotta keep those words safe. Just make sure your words are safe there. So that's number one. If you want to transfer back onto your main account, which is on Ethereum 1, what's going to happen is that you're going to wait for another phase called phase 2. Phase 2 is when Ethereum 1 gets merged into Ethereum 2. So the whole of Ethereum will become ETH2. I made this really bad joke yesterday, this bad analogy, which is like right now, ETH1 just gave birth to a baby, ETH2. This baby can do nothing. I mean, it can't even cry at this current point, right? It can't do transfers, it can't do anything. But once it grows up into phase 1, it's going to be a big boy. You can start sending transactions. Once it grows to the year after that, phase 2, it's going to be a giant and it's going to eat up its mom, right? It's going to eat up Ethereum 1.0. That's going to merge into it, and it's going to become an entire network. So that's when you can merge everything together. That's when it's going to be fun. Man, there's so many ads. Have you guys noticed there's so many ads today for Brave? I want to support Brave, but come on, man, lower the ads a little bit. We got a question from Anthony. Says CyberFi. Yes, I do want to give a shout out. So if you guys are interested in finding out what's happening with CyberFi, intelligent DeFi automation, we have a new podcast. This podcast was fast. It's like 19 minutes podcast on box mining, Bitcoin out of the box. Check it out. You can search for it on Spotify, anything Bitcoin out of the box. In fact, if you search on Google, I'm pretty sure it takes you to Spotify, podcast tail, everything. So yeah, pretty much. There we go. So search for that everywhere. And with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching today. Let me just do the outro, and thank you guys. Do hit those like buttons. It really does help. Thanks, guys. I'd like to take the time now to tell you a little bit about everything that's happening in the box mining ecosystem. First and foremost, if you guys like listening to all that's happening in crypto on the go, then I would highly recommend you checking out the box mining Bitcoin out of the box podcast. And the reason why it's called Bitcoin out of the box is because we have long interview segments very much exploring the detail of the newest and latest of what's going on in this whole cryptocurrency space. Whole idea of it is to bridge that gap between knowledge privileged institutional investors and the rest of us here in this space. Now, with the podcast, it's on everything. So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Spotify. Just search it anywhere, Bitcoin out of the box. So just add that onto a playlist and just follow the new episodes when it's released. Next up, we also have the box mining newsletter. So this happens roughly bi-weekly. We give you an update of the latest that's going on in a very summarized, condensed format. So this is perfect for anyone that wants an overview of the market. Say, for example, what's happening with OKX, the biggest event, or maybe the little things like what's happening with different coins and overall the trend. So what I use the newsletter for personally myself is to understand what kind of phase we're in crypto, to kind of get in tune. So if you don't read crypto every day, the newsletter is perfect for you. Last but not least, in the link down below, if you're a Telegram user, we have the box mining announcements channel. So this is to announce to you basically what's the latest videos coming up, but also we have a daily update, a community-driven daily update to provide you an idea of the latest updates on a day. And a lot of people have been using that to get informed of the crazy amounts of trends that we see. And I have to give a big thank you for Claudio, our community member, for doing this. It's just been phenomenal. Definitely want to give you a shout out there, Claudio, as well for that. And taking us to the end of the live stream, so make sure, number one, you click like and subscribe on this video because it really does help this channel. And then, of course, check out the podcast. It's one of the best ways to know a little bit more, to extend that knowledge, especially in your spare time. And then, of course, check out the newsletter. If you're, if you want those updates and summaries and trends, newsletter is the place for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you have a good one. See you in the next video.